Well, here to dissect it is our resident Russia watcher, Alan Mendoza, Executive Director of the Henry Jackson Society. Good evening, Alan.
Good evening.
Hello. So let's talk about Evan Gershkovich first of all. He was challenged actually by a reporter from the New York Times, not one of Gershkovich's colleagues, but of course a fellow press member. And she was asked about the fact that the US had proposed a significant proposal to secure the release of Gershkovich alongside American citizen Paul Whelan, who is also detained in Russia on similar charges. And what did Putin have to say?
Well, Putin's line was essentially that, no, we take this seriously. There's a discussion to be had about this, but there's a legal process as well. Now, we know full well there is no legal process when it comes to this sort of thing. The legal process in Russia for matters like this is if Mr. Putin says, go and arrest someone, they go and arrest someone, and they don't come out until he decides to do it. But this is unfortunately the leverage that Putin knows he has. We've seen with the Brittany Grinder case, where an exchange was made with Victor Bout, the very sort of infamous arms dealer, that Putin will want to extract a price. He'll be looking for someone he wants out of an American jail in return for these people who shouldn't be in Russian jails being released.
It was a sort of slightly bizarre format today. I sort of started tuning in when he was getting questions from members of the public. Just set the scene for us a bit, Alan, if you can. What were people seeing?
Well, you alluded to it earlier. There are two shows he likes to do every year. The first is, meet the press, basically. And the second is this rather bizarre call-in where, I don't know, he might be after your slot on Times Radio and he wants people to ring in and, give him questions. But of course, it's not people ringing in. It's people who have been carefully handpicked to ask questions that only he wants to answer. And they did have, obviously, a lot of people who wrote in wanting to ask questions in this sort of way and wanting to be called. But the Kremlin makes it quite clear it's the questions that he wants to have answered that will be answered.
2 million people submitted questions.
Which is amazing if you think about it. Plenty of interest, obviously. But look, no one's under any illusions that this is going to be a free discussion debate where somebody, where Andy from Croydon can actually ring in and say, I think this. No, look, these are questions that he wants to answer, that they're all set piece. It's all a very carefully constructed PR show, with Putin at the centre of it, puffing out his chest, beating his breast and saying, I am here, I'm staying, and look what a virile man I am, that I can take all these questions and I'm brave and it doesn't matter.
He did cough at one point, Alan, and blamed the air conditioning. Very, very quick to kind of jump on. It's the air conditioning. That's all that's making me cough. I'm absolutely fine. And so fine is he. As you said, this went on for 4 hours. It sort of started off with a Russian army officer in a trench or a bunker, I couldn't quite tell, who was beaming in from the eastern Donbass region of Ukraine, gunshots ringing in the background. And the first thing he said is, our victory is already in sight. And that sort of set the tone for the sort of slightly staged nature of it, didn't it, really? What did Putin have to say about the war?
Well, he says it's all going, according to plan. In the sense of, we will continue till our original plans, the denazification of Ukraine, will be achieved. They will bow to our will, etc., etc., etc. I think there was, interestingly, although it is very staged, I think there was a slight hint of exasperation in some of what he was saying about, the Ukrainians, why haven't they given in already, etc. But look, this was very much a message to the Russian people. It is, my line is correct. We're fighting a just and correct war. There are enemies. They're threatening, interestingly, the Russian homeland. That's one of his justifications, that Ukraine actually threatens Russia. And, we must continue this till it's over. And I will continue it till it's over.